Hello, this is Greg Hannon from Gospel Music University, and today we're going to look at some other chord changes and progressions that are just very popular in contemporary worship sound and music. And we're going to look at some very popular voices that are just used across the board in just literally, literally thousands of songs. And we're going to look at the chord voices and examine the chord number system based on the song in the key of D, called I Trust You by James Fortune. And we're just looking at the progressions. Here, I don't teach songs in this format. That's not what I'm doing. I'm teaching common chord progressions that you can use to just embellish your songs and just pretty much apply it to everything across the board to improve your ear and to be able to hear patterns and progressions and to use them over and over again when they show up in other songs. The chords that we're using are coming from my contemporary chord finding learning system. If you don't have that, you absolutely want to purchase that. Right now, it's on sale in the store at Gospel Music University for $67. It comes with two DVDs that show you how to use the chord system and an 8-page chord resource guide with over 500 plus of the most popular chords used in contemporary gospel music, and pretty much the chords that you're looking for that you can't hear and that you're trying to find. You know, the chord finder is exactly what it is. It helps you to find the right chords to the songs that you're trying to transcribe by ear. It's just a tool for the musicians to help them find accurate chords and not use watered down substitutions, but using the real harmonies and the type voices that are used in contemporary music. So let's take a look at this. Let's just dive right into this. Here we're in the key of D major, in the key of D. D is 1, E is 2, F sharp is 3, G is 4, A is 5, B is 6, and C sharp is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then D starts over 1. So the first progression that we have in the song is a 1-4 progression. What do we mean by 1-4? If you don't understand progressions and when we talk about the chord number system, I have an online course called Contemporary Keyboard Harmony 1 that will explain and teach you the diatonic chords for contemporary voices and teach you to understand and apply the chord number system where you can get into learning 7 of the most basic diatonic chords that will apply to literally thousands of songs using just those 7 chords based on the major scale with those beautiful plush contemporary voices. And that course is called Contemporary Keyboard Harmony 1. It's an online course, but it's also available, just the video portion of it is also available on DVD also, but it's actually online also if you want to purchase it that way also. So let's look at this 1-4 progression. 1-4 means that I'm playing a 1, some type of a 1 chord. It means that it must be some type of a D chord and some type of a 4 chord and some type of a G chord, okay? So this is a very popular voicing right here that we're using in the beginning. And just let me just show you just the intro briefly of the song, very simple. And I'm gonna do the left hand first. So the left hand, okay, so that's basically left hand. Right hand, and one thing I'm doing right here, this D and this E, this D is actually a gradational movement to the E because the chord is really the AEA. But if I take this D right here and just quickly just attach it to the E, we get this sound. So just listen to the articulation and then be able to quickly flick that D to the A. Okay, all together. Then it goes down an octave. Then you got this arpeggio. And that actually starts the song off. Okay, so again. And that arpeggio is actually on the G. And I'm actually doing a G2 chord. That's the voicing that I'm using. Still playing a G, D, G in the left hand and the A, B, D, A in the right hand. Okay, so once we do that, we actually go into the song, and that's just the introduction to the song. And then we start off with a 1 chord, and the next progression is a 1 to a 3 to a 4, using these contemporary worship type chord voicings with a lot of sus chords and a lot of added 2 chords also. So again, here we go. That same concept. That's the 1 chord. 1 chord. That's the 4 chord. So we got a 1, a 3, a 4. Now this next progression is a 4-5-1 chord progression, because in the key of D, the 4 is G, and that's a G chord, but I'm actually playing the 3rd, the B, also in the root. So that's still a G chord, so we call it a 4, even though we're playing the 3rd of the chord in the root. Is still a G chord. And then the next chord is an A chord with the 3rd of A, which is C sharp in the root. So we call it a 4-5-1 progression. You hear that all the time in gospel music, in particular contemporary worship sound, and you hear this sound. And then a lot of times you hear melodic pickup. That's still that same 4-5-1. So in this case, I'm doing a pickup with the B, C sharp, going to my 4 chord. C sharp, going to D. Going to the 5 chord. All right, so basically that's what we're doing now. The next element that's used in this song and so many other songs are the diatonic sixes. Diatonic just means in the key of, based on the major scale. In the contemporary keyboard harmony series, we teach diatonic chords that you can use to play pretty much a ton of this type of music. But there are also diatonic sixes, meaning that we're playing the major scale, but we're playing in intervals of sixes. 6 notes apart, and in this case, in the key of D, D is 1, and a 6 below that would be C sharp. Then we go to a 6 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those are all diatonic sixes, and when you hear people, musicians play, you hear those, or maybe just on again. It gives you another component to improvise and just to embellish your chords. You can play it over any of the diatonic chords is in this key. So it doesn't matter which one you press in what order, they all work because they're all diatonic. They're all in the key of using the notes of the major scale. So let me show you how it applies to this song. And these are the sixes that we use in here. Okay. So again. Again. That's a 4 chord, and then we go back to that same 4-5-1 progression, but this time we're only playing the 4. And then we're going to another element of gospel, and which is called the walk-up. And in my Elements of Gospel Learning System, my 5 audio CD set with a 45-page book, it teaches you the diatonic sixes that we just talked about in this course, and how to apply them to your music. And it also teaches you walk-ups. And this is a walk-up progression that we use in this song. And you hear this sound in gospel all the time. Okay, so that's actually that particular sound. And let me show you how in real time. Okay, and now we're going to come down on this B minor 11 chord. On the track, they're probably using a B major 7 or B major 9, but I just like the dark sound of that minor 11. You hear minor 11s all the time in a a lot of really dramatic kind of talk music, the chord will just allow you to just create all kind of wonderful sounds just off because it's just a rich chord. But this is the B minor 11, and the B in the key of D is a 4. So here again, the next progression is going to be a 6 going to a 4 to a 5 to a 6. And you know, like I said, there are many different voices for these different chords. So you know, it's still going to be a 6, which is a B minor chord, a 4, which is some type of G chord, a 5, which is some type of A chord. So again, here we go with the walk up. Excuse me, again. To the 4, which is a G major 9 chord, G, B, D in the root, and then you got all the other pretty stuff in the right hand. Then you go back to the B minor, then you do that 4, 5, 1 progression. So that's the next section that we need to actually learn. So that kind of gets you to that point of the song. And then it really gets really into some very unique and some very beautiful harmonies. So this is probably going to be a lengthier tutorial. So there's going to be at least 1 or 2 more parts to this. So join me in part 1 and review this and go over all these harmonies and really learn and nail this part. Until next time, they say you had to be gifted to play gospel music. Evidently, they don't know my secret. This is Greg Hannon with more keyboards, tips, tricks, and more from Gospel Music University.